Oh, yes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Med Bros podcast. As always, my name is Aaron Borgman. It is April 7th, 2026. This is episode 69. Look out, everybody.
Hey,
I
nice.
am here, as
Nice.
always,
Yes.
joined by my good
Nice.
friend and co host, Evan Kraft. Ev, we have a special guest this evening who's
Oh, yeah.
just, clearly had nothing better to do but to join us tonight. Ev, we have Mike Stella. I'm going to give a quick
Yes,
intro here,
sir.
and then I'm going to let Mike take it away. Mike is a certified athletic trainer and educator. He is a former Marist lacrosse athlete and George Washington grad. He has worked in a litany of settings up and down the East Coast. He is founder of his own company, The Movement Underground. We are going to let Mike take it away. Mike, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Man, you got to take that to the booth, my friend. You've got it. You have got, there's something that great booth announcers have, and whatever that thing is, you've got it in spades, my friend. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know there's been some, we originally had this slotted in the end of NATA month. We've had some scheduling issues. We appreciate your flexibility. But listen, I think we're going to get right to it, dive right in. Mike, the first thing that I want to do is I want you to kind of give us the 10,000 foot view. Give us the journey. You've built a name for yourself in this private AT space. Just tell us how you got here. Start wherever you want, but tell us how you got where you're at, man.
The 10,000-foot view is like the same story, man. I had like the aspirations to be on a sideline like you guys, like NFL or NBA. That was the original game plan. Like my career started because I was an injured athlete, just like so many other athletic trainers. I tore my ACL, PCL, MCL, meniscus, completely blew the knee out. And then I ended up playing at Marist, and they just happened to have an athletic training program. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll do this. And then once I got into my career as a certified and I started realizing, oh, like no money here. And I had a lot of family circumstances too. Like my mom was sick and those kinds of things. So I always had a hard time reconciling my love for the athletic training thing and just the money. And so for me, it was like the only way to hang on to any of this stuff was to reimagine what athletic training could be for me. And I worked in like the private PT setting, like after I left the traditional setting, just to get like more normal hours for a while. But I always would think back and go like the best freaking healthcare model there is that model, is like being in the trenches with your athletes, like actually knowing your patients on a personal level is completely changes the game when it comes to actually outcomes. And that for me, all I cared about was that. I cared about outcomes because I was that injured athlete that just never got back to where my expectations were. So it was like personal, and for better or worse, I'm kind of gritty as fuck, and decided if nobody was gonna slide a seat for me at their table, that I just build my own fucking table. And 22 years later, I'm an overnight success. That's
Beautiful.
basically how it went.
That's beautiful, man.
It's a beautiful
It's
thing,
beautiful,
I
man.
man.
appreciate that. Right?
Um,
Is that a time for like a slow clap or?
no, that's a great intro. How did you go from Marist and G Dub, a fine A10 school, Ev? I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh,
But
yes.
The
how did you go?
finest.
How did
Yeah.
you go from Marist and G Dub to the Movement Underground and where you're at on Long Island today? What was the steps? What were the steps? Excuse me.
So Maris for me kind of happened by mistake. It was like the last D1 that was going to give me any money to play lacrosse.
Hmm.
And I still, again, all of those years, like lacrosse was my ticket out. It was my way to pay for school. And so like after the knee, I just couldn't, I like had to play somewhere. So I ended up playing at Marist. I did the sports medicine thing, but I always wanted that like big school experience. That was always like the thing for me that I wanted, just didn't get to do. So I went like the mid-major route. So I wanted to get an SEC job or like a Big Ten job or a Big 12 job, something like that, and like really work big time Division I sports. I saw that as like maybe my back, like, and again, this is like the early 2000s, right? So it was a little bit of a different landscape then of like how you made your way into the professional ranks. But I saw that as like a realistic option for me. And like, I just wanted to do the work because I love that shit. So my program director was like, you will never, ever, ever get a job at any of those schools. She's like, don't even bother applying. It's a waste of time. And I'm like, why? She's like, they're not going to call you because you don't have big school experience. I'm like, okay. Applied anyway, got the call at Florida, fucking went down to Gainesville, was on that staff for a national championship. And then in truth, I went down to Florida like guns a-blazing. Like I had no girlfriend, no friends. I was down there. I wasn't there to make money. I was making $6 a fucking hour. You know, I'm not even joking. I was making $6 an hour, and I would hit overtime on Wednesday working for the game. I worked 100 hours a week minimum, but it was the coolest thing, man, because I just wanted to be with the athletes in the big time. Like that's what I wanted. So the problem for me was like I went down there with like that old school mindset of like, I'm just going to outwork and out hustle everybody. And then when I started to do that, it pissed people off.
Sure.
I didn't realize I was just trying to go and do a great job. Like when my superiors told me to do something, they never had to say it a second time. It was just getting done from now on. And then I made people look bad. And then when those jobs when they were going to bring everybody back, I was the outside looking in. So GW was kind of like I needed a place to go to grad school. Otherwise my student loan payments were going to kick in and I was fucking broke. I had no money. So I somehow just threw the Hail Mary and the Florida, just having I had a Florida connection at GW and Ben Kenyon, who went on to be the strength and conditioning coach for like the Portland Trail Blazers. And he was in the NBA for years. He's a legend, that guy. And he kind of got me into GW and I did my master's in business administration, my MBA. Because even at that time, I kind of had a feeling like this AT thing is awesome, but I just didn't see like how I was actually going to make it like money wise and like be able to provide for my family and do those things. So I kind of hedged my bets and went the business route, which didn't help me at all starting a business, by the way. Like not at all, in the same way that like school, doesn't help you do shit except for like have debt. Right. Yeah. And then eventually it was, my mom was sick. I had to get back to New York. So I went from GW to LIU Brooklyn, tiny little mid-major D1, where it's like 3 athletic trainers, 22 sports. And I loved it there too, but I was making 29 grand a year. So I left, went to a private PT route. And then in the PT setting was where, I was basically working as an aide, essentially like an assistant, which fucking sucked. But I was making more money. I had regular hours. I could live my life to some degree, at least on some level. And then when people would get discharged from PT, they would come up to me and be like, yo, man, like, can I pay you cash to help me with this? Because like, you're awesome and I really need help. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I was like, I don't know if that's legal. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. My mom's got bills. Like I got bills to pay, man. I'm like, that's cash money. So I just started basically treating and training clients that were discharged or, their insurance cut them off. So I was like, I'll do this, but I was working in New York City. So it was like hedge fund guys and like these corporate types who would pay great money for results. Like they didn't care. And that's when I started to realize like the only people who care about this credential thing are like credentialed providers. Like everybody else doesn't give a fuck. Like nobody gives a fuck. They care if you can get the job done. And here I am, like a young guy having thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in the trenches with some of the best athletes and coaches and doctors and therapists and strength coaches. It was just fucking awesome. So I was like, if I could do this, if I could package that athletic training room feeling, and I always had that vision in my head, was like a facility where it's one model. It's people, you come in, people know you. There's that community aspect to it. But it's like where you really can break down the barriers for people in pain and show them a pathway forward and give them their autonomy back, just like we do with the athletes every day. And it's like, everybody said, you can't do it. Nobody will pay. Fucking watch me. Like people will pay because they'll pay for a great experience and they'll pay for results. There's always a market for quality. And my whole thing is, I want this I think this is the future. If you want to see athletic training become something approximating a real profession where you could go there and make a living and stand on your own feet, I think this is how you do it. Or at least this is the pathway to increase the demand for it, because there is a demand for it. No, people could go use their insurance and go somewhere else, and they come here and they pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
That tells you something. Tells me something.
Yeah.
So
100%. You answered about the first 5 questions of that interview.
Perfect.
But I'm gonna kind of tail onto the end of what you just said. What was that first moment when you realized like this might actually work in the position that you were in and doing all that stuff and like working with all those people? What was the light bulb moment where you realized, oh shit, this is going to be a big thing?
So when I was working in the PT clinic in New York City, I was living in Queens, taking the trains to the city, and I would train some clients before my shift. You know, my shift started at 6 a.m. So I trained like a 4 a.m. client, a 5 a.m. client, work from 6 to 2, and then go like 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock client and like go home.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had made a deal with my boss, which was something approximating like every time you train a client here, you pay the house $20 and they have to pay the membership fee, and then we're good. I'm like, fucking beautiful gravy, right? But you know, again, the recurring theme in my story was people want to see you do well, just not better than them. And they started seeing me do well. And so they started getting mad. So they started raising my rate. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, so finally, then it started becoming like contentious because I wanted to reduce my hours like in the clinic because I could make more money on the private training side. And I was keeping people that would have been discharged patients were paying their membership fee every month.
Yeah.
And paying me on top. So it was a win-win, and they just didn't see it that way. Right. And so eventually I was like, you know, fucking, right. Like a little bit of spite. So I started training some of the clients in their own buildings, but it just cut into so much of my day that the only way for me to make that work was to like basically double my rates and ask like my clients to pay double what they had been paying me. And I think at that time I had 8 clients that I was working with, and all 8 said yes. And that's when I knew that all of everything that everybody had told me about private practice, athletic training, or that nobody will pay you, nobody values that credential, everything that people had put in my head, other athletic trainers had put in my head, was bullshit.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
No resistance
bullshit.
to that.
Because I'm not that special. Like, I love this stuff and I'm a smart guy. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not that fucking special. I just worked really hard at it because for me, it was personal, right? I was the injured athlete that never got back, and I became obsessed with it for my own like selfish reasons. And now I'm just able to parlay that into helping other people really, really well, and building a team that's able to do that really, really well. And then in here in the movement underground, like, I don't give a fuck what credential you are. If you believe what we believe in, and you want to treat in this way where you can have that unfettered access and you can bring it and get results, then you have a home here. And so I have massage therapists, physical therapists, athletic trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, all working together in one model. It's fucking awesome, man. It's like the dream come true.
I'm gonna kind of branch off here from the script and ask you what your philosophy is as an athletic trainer. This is kind of a random question, but since you just said that, I want to know what your philosophy is in your current practice right now as an athletic trainer.
So like my clinical philosophy,
your clinical, personal, whatever encompasses that whole umbrella. Just tell us that.
I guess like kind of like our mantra here is like elite athletic medicine for all.
Yeah.
Like what we're able to deliver in the athletic training in the traditional setting. And that's like my main message to most ATs is like, they just don't fucking realize the gold mine of experience that they're sitting on.
Absolutely.
And they just keep it a secret.
Yeah.
That is the biggest sin in the whole profession. Because everybody's pointing at the freaking NATA and shit, like, why can't you fix it? It's like, in a meeting somewhere? No, that's not how that shit works. Like, that's not how that shit works at all, actually. Like, we have to do it. All I did was put my phone on and show people what it was. And I'm really just showing them just the MSK rehab side. I'm not really even showing them the full lane. But like, you know, people ask me, like, how did you learn all this stuff? It's just like, what do you mean? It's like fucking soccer season. Like, that's how, you know, like work a SEC track and field and see if you can't figure out some tendon issues. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just what we don't realize as athletic trainers. And again, you guys dual credentialed, so you guys can see this from both sides, which I really respect that. And I think that's
just me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right. Sorry. I apologize. I don't want to offend anybody.
No,
You can
Um,
offend me all you want. That's fine.
but you know, I think it's like, to be fair, right? It's like, you know, physical therapists like pay to do these residencies and get treated like shit in these residencies to get some semblance of what athletic trainers get to do like on Monday,
Yeah.
you know, and Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, I just think it's partly, you know, so like my clinical philosophy has just always been that. It's been results by any means necessary. It's
Yeah.
been, if it can give a person 1% effect size, like I'm willing to do that work. Everybody's like, oh, manual therapy. So why are you wasting your time? Because that's easy to say because you're not in fucking pain. Tell that to the person who's
yeah,
lost their sport or their identity or their ability to take care of themselves or their family, you know, play with their kids, like all that kind of stuff. Like
yeah,
tell it to the person who's actually struggling. What's it worth? And so again, I've just been able to take the pain science, the biomechanics, and distill it into like an education model for my clients and my staff. That's more of a active approach to healthcare. So this vision, the movement underground, this is my vision for primary care. This is what primary care should look like. First line, you know, because like think about people under 40, you don't really need a primary care physician until you're like 40, basically. It's like if you are generally healthy and athletic, your biggest issue that you run into is injuries, you know, like traumatic stuff, not chronic stuff. And if we did more of this with more people early and took a longer arc, we might be able to stave off a lot of these chronic metabolic issues and obesity and diabetes and cancer rates and all this crazy stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. That's my shtick.
That was a phenomenal answer, by the way. Thank you so much for that. I mean, we have completely blown up the agenda, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
I told you I was gonna fucking.
No, I love
you.
it. I love it because here's the thing. I want to make 2 points.
I tried to warn you guys.
No, it's
I
all
want to
good.
make no. That's what we like. I want to make 2 points on what you just said. I was in PT school, and I worked 40 hours a week work study. Well, 40 hours a week is what I got paid for work study in the athletic training room at $5 an hour, literally in college. I considered my residency the 4.5 years that I worked in the athletic training room while I was in PT school, right? So you can't replace that, to your point. So I think that you made a great point about like those residencies. And I did not go to a residency program. I was ready to get out of school. I'm not a school person. I think it's very valuable for those that love it. I was ready to go practice and I went straight into it, right? Because I had done all that work into the athletic training room, got my athletic training certification, and felt like I was ready to go. So that's first point. My second point.
It's such a good trial by fire, isn't it? You know, it's like just immerse yourself in it with no like billing codes or fucking procedure. It's just like
you just do
what's coming through the door today.
Yeah, you just do it.
STDs, fucking broken fingers. Like it's just. I mean, it's short of bullet wounds on a battlefield. I mean, you know, it's like,
and it's not.
It's crazy.
It's not that unfathomable, to be honest with you, given where my campus was. To be honest, in Midtown St. Louis. But that being said, the one point I did want to make is you made a great point about manual therapy, and we talk about manual therapy all the time on this show. Now, there are detractors, there are lovers, everything in between. Ev and I are both big proponents of manual therapy as an ends to a mean, right? You can give me every study under the sun that you want, right? Do I think manual therapy is the thing? No, I don't. I think exercise is the thing. I think mobility is the thing. But if I can get somebody to move better, to do more strengthening, to have less pain in order to get to that exercise, manual therapy is such a valuable tool in that regard because otherwise people aren't going to do anything for you. If you can bring that pain level down just a little bit, then they were more likely to do stuff for you, right? And then B, more likely to have a better result doing that strengthening or mobility or whatever it is you want to get to. So I just want to applaud you for standing on a stump and saying that manual therapy has its place because I just think that we've oversteered into the skid here a little bit with manual therapy from a place
Sure.
that used to be, I think, we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Like it has a place.
100%.
It has a
Absolutely.
place. Do I want to do that all day, every day? No. Is that the 100% cure? No. But I don't believe that we can get where we want to go wholly, excuse me, without some form of it, at least in the beginning of the rehab, or at least, at the early stages of post-op or whatever. I'm going to let you talk on that, but I just wanted to really drive home those points because I think both of those things are things that kind of get bastardized and overlooked in our profession. Please go ahead, talk. I've talked for a long time.
No, I mean, I respect and I share a very similar viewpoint on it. And my viewpoint on manual therapy has evolved over the years. Like when I first started getting into athletic training and was in AT school, when athletes would ask for a massage, like a lot of our CIs would just be like, "Oh, massage, like go to a massage therapist. We're not going to do that. We're going to do stim and ultrasound, like real shit." It's like, okay. And then when I get to Florida and I'm working with track and field, and I'm watching my direct supervisor, the head athletic trainer for track, who's also a massage therapist, like tune these guys up like fucking race cars. Like where I'm watching it and I have this negative viewpoint of manual therapy. And even when I interviewed for the job, he's like, "What's your experience with manual therapy?" I was like, "I know what effleurage is. Like, that's what I know." He's like, "Great. We call that a flush. You're going to do that on 50 athletes a day that are not hurt just for prevention." I'm like, "Okay, great." Here I am fucking doling out, rub downs. And I hated it in the beginning, but then as I watched him work more and more with these, we had, I mean, elite track athletes, top 3 in the nation. I mean, that program is just.
Oh, we're going to get to that here in a second at the trivia section. Yeah. Don't you worry.
Okay, perfect. Anyway, I'm like, okay, I've been sold a fucking lie on this. I got to learn this stuff. And to his credit, Andy taught me and like took me under his wing and exposed me to so much cool stuff so early in my career. He's like, Warren Hammer, like functional assessment, soft tissue by manual methods, anatomy trains. He's putting me on all this fascia stuff. We're going to go see Gil Headley do this thing. I'm like, okay, great. Like, and we just were in it. Right. So again, we were thinking we're breaking stuff up and we're doing Graston and getting certified in ART and the whole shebang. And then over the years, like as the science comes out and we start to learn a little bit more, like I'm willing to change my opinion based on data but I also know what I fucking know. And I've seen what I've seen, and I've seen athletes change like that. And maybe the narrative of that model was maybe bad, like breaking up tissue and lengthening muscles. It was highly mechanical and really myopic in that way. But it worked. We were getting outcomes and my whole thing was always about outcomes. I don't care. Like science is great. I love the science and I like to be right too, but I care less about being right and more about being useful. Like that's always been my thing. Right. And so when people argue this shit online, first off, when people say manual therapy is bullshit and pointless, they're trying to sell you an online rehab program.
Yeah.
They're biased in that way. That's fine. I do the same thing. I benefit when people see an integrated approach and go, "Oh, that works." And I want that. I benefit from that, but I can I'll die on this hill because my viewpoint of manual therapy is that it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to deliver the education and to get the buy-in. And so the way that I frame this for people is if your HVAC in your house broke down, and it's fucking freezing and it's cold in your house. You got little kids and you call that HVAC technician and he comes over and he goes, "All right, Aaron, here's the problem with your HVAC. I want you to do this yourself. That'll be $500. I'll be over there." We'd be pissed, like you'd be like, "Fuck you, get out of my house." And that's what like the manual therapy is the exchange. It's somebody's coming to you for help with a pain problem. And okay, I'm not saying I got magical hands, I'm going to fix your pain problem. But if I can unpack that story, if I can really pull back the layers while I'm giving them that treatment, and give them that rocky moment where it's like, I start putting those seeds in their head, like, you're going to come back from this. This is how we're going to do it. This is the plan. This is the program today. This is what we're working on. And now they have that buy-in. To your point, that is a more ready human being to execute on the plan.
Yeah.
We could argue the semantics of whether that's evidence-based or not, but that's just us arguing. I'm, again, more interested in the outcomes and what people's experience is, and go, that was a life-changing experience. And again, I think we can be honest that manual therapy isn't a fix. I am transparent with people before they swipe the card. You do not need me to fix you. Like, I am not going to do anything to your tissue that is going to magically change this scenario, but it's going to feel better. You're going to move better, and then we're going to load it. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
And so I think as long as there's transparency in that conversation,
1000%.
let's fucking go.
Yeah. So I'm glad you hit on that, because I think that's a really important point. And I promise, Ev, you get to talk here in a second.
No, it's fine.
Just that, we've seen in the last 10 years, whatever it is, all these studies talking about how manual therapy is not what we once thought it was, and that's fine. And they've controlled for that. But what it hasn't controlled for is things like therapeutic alliance, which we know is a thing, right? That relationship, that buy-in, you use that term a lot. I think that's really, really important. Do I want it to be my primary mover? No. To your point, we're going to use it, and then we're going to go load something, and then we're going to get better.
Right.
And then the next time, I tell people all the time, like, it's a terrible business model, but I'm trying to make myself obsolete and do it in the quickest way possible. And if I can use some of those techniques and those practices to do so, then the person benefits, and then they're going to tell 5 people, and then those people are going to come see me, and so on and so forth. And then the next time,
right.
And then the next time that person gets hurt, hopefully never, but the next time they do, they'll come back.
You're
again.
the first phone call.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You're the first phone call. And that's what I'm looking to be. The first phone call for all these people. And we built our business on new clients and getting results and getting people where they need to be, so they're autonomous on their own.
Yeah.
And then people choose to stay because they enjoy the experience. And so who cares if that's, we got clients who get on the table for 30 minutes every week as like a haircut appointment because they genuinely enjoy the exchange. And there's some strategy that's happening there with their therapist and their coach that is like their kind of like recalibration for the week, especially when we're dealing with people with, maybe chronic injuries, or, we have a lot of runners or, endurance athletes, jiu-jitsu athletes, like people who take this stuff seriously and need ongoing support and care, because it's not just like, okay, I'll just do 6 visits of PT for this, and hopefully I can go back to jiu-jitsu. It's like, okay, sure. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Ev, the agenda is gone. It's toast. Ask a question, whatever you want.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that whole manual therapy approach, that's a very personal time too, between the clinician and the patient, right? So that's a time when they can kind of let their guard down because they know they've got somebody with their hands on them, and that personal touch. I mean, honestly,
it changes people's brain chemistry instantly.
That's so huge. Yeah.
Instantly. You change people's brain. There's oxytocin releasing in that person's brain. That is a bonding chemical. And so when I had a 16-year-old client today, post-op ACL, right? And 16 is tough enough as it is, in 2026, let alone you just blew out your knee and now you're spending time with this new random guy. It's like, I got to build rapport with this kid really quickly, because I'm about to push you into your pain threshold or really flirt with what that line is. And you got to trust me. There's got to be trust there. And I have found no better agent for building that quickly than through that hands-on experience.
Yeah.
And through like actually listening and giving a shit about what people have to say. And so again, people want to argue this in comment sections. It's like, you just haven't been doing it. And that's why you're able to take that stance that it's pointless, is you just don't want to do the work. That's fine. Just be honest about it though. Just like I'm being honest, I'm not fixing people with my hands. And I don't think any real good clinician nowadays is arguing that. Or even, and are there bad actors? For sure. there are the crack and whack chiros and, the PTs who, doing sound fucking therapy and, random shit, and healing people's chakras. It's like, that's always going to be out there, but that's not what most PTs, ATs, and massage therapists are doing and chiros are doing. That's just not what they're doing. They're doing some semblance of this integrated approach because they value that in-person experience.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge point. I think we can wrap this whole conversation up with, because we're going to go in a different direction now.
Sweet. Let's go.
It's a little bit back to the business side here. What were kind of the first real system? What made you scale your business from what it was to what it is now? And I know that's a
from like what, from like me as a solopreneur to like having a team in a facility.
Yeah. To how it is now. Like what did you do throughout that whole process to make you scale that to what it is now?
I think it's just like the natural law of progression. It's like there's things I've achieved that 10 years ago I said would have made me happy. Like even just like the first time, like I made like 6 figures or like 5 figures in a month. Like I was like, if I could just get to that point, I'll never ask for anything else beyond that. And you're just like, fuck yeah, what's next?
Yeah.
It's partly the athlete in me is like the competitive nature, but it's also, again, it's some of it's personal. It's like, I just see how poorly people are treated out there. And it's like, and there are people that believe, and like, as I've put more stuff on social media, it's attracted people who believe the same thing I do. And it's like, having a team is really nice, and it's allowed me a lot of other opportunities, like going out to Tyler's event and speaking at that, and like doing more mainstream health and fitness events, and like being an athletic trainer on those fucking stages, not just at NATA or like EATA or whatever but like on major stages in the national spotlight. That's what I'm trying to do now, because I believe in this. Part of it was just, I had good people with me, and in order to get them to be able to earn the kind of living that I wanted for them to be able to do, like we just had to build the ship bigger and bigger. And that's what I meant by like building a bigger table. And so that just allows me to have more seats at that table. And I get to lean on these other people, and it's awesome, and see them get amazing results with their clients. And by proxy, we're able to help so many more people like that. So partly it's competitive, partly it's, I feel like we're just doing this better, and I want more people to have access to that. And partly I just like feel a responsibility to my current staff to like keep making this thing bigger so they can get a bigger and bigger paycheck, and they don't have to struggle like I did for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any mistakes that you made along the way that have taught you lessons into how you've scaled that to what it is now?
Dude, all of them, man. Every mistake you can make. What do you mean? Have I made mistakes? I didn't fall here. That's for sure. It's been a grind. Like I've been fucked over by former business partners who stole money from me. And, I've been screwed over in relationships, like every single, like fucked over at work with like employers, just always taking advantage of the fact that I was like the passionate guy willing to go the extra mile. And then they would just leverage that for their own gain and just fuck me over at the end. So like all of it, man, a lot of it, even though I believed in my clinical skill set, like there was many years I didn't charge what I was worth, because I still had these things in my head, these belief systems wired from being in athletic training schools. Like, you must have a physician watching over your shoulder. And I'm like, I worked as a collegiate athletic trainer for 7 years. Not once, not fucking one time was there a physician there while I was working my ass off at 6 a.m. Not one time ever. Not to say that I didn't benefit from those relationships and those kinds of things, but again, it's just
How do you feel about standing orders? Because we're going to go back to a few weeks ago with Tyler Lesher, who's, I believe, a friend of yours, and how he feels about standing orders with physicians. And I feel the same way. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
you got to get rid of it, man. It's the only way. Yeah. It's the only way.
Yeah.
And I think it's partly anytime this comes to committees and it's like, okay, we want to make athletic training more relevant in healthcare. It's like, but we have a model that the current healthcare business structure doesn't reward. You know, like the altruistic like athletic training is founded in altruism. Like be there with the athletes, take care of them because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like having medical on the field with these people all the time because they're in such high risk, high exposure scenarios. That's the right thing to do. Medicine doesn't reward the right thing to do. It rewards the profitable thing to do. And it's just like, as soon as athletic trainers can fucking get the memo on that and start to look at this for what it is, which is, it's not an education or skill set problem. It's a value exchange problem. It's an economics problem. We're a line item expense on a budget. As long as we're a line item expense on a budget, you will not see those salaries go up because those administrators are tasked with reducing the budget as much as they can. And when you have a product that attracts people that just want to wear the jersey, it's the perfect storm for bullshit. It's the perfect storm, because people will wear that jersey because it gives them some kind of intrinsic value. Go to an NATA conference, man. It's like just people wearing polos, like they have nothing else to wear. It's like, I get it. It's cool. Like, you should be proud of where you work, but like, that's not who are you when you take that freaking logo off? That's what I'm interested in.
As someone that wore a Hawaiian flowered shirt for a promo with our names on it and our logos on it in a booth at last year's NATA, I got you, man.
Which booth? Which booth were you guys? Which you guys did your own?
No, we did. We supported HydroWorks last year at NATA.
Oh, cool!
So it was awesome. Nice to be asked to be there and help them. We did a couple live shows. Ev got in the hot tubs.
I love that.
That kind of thing. So, I'm going to combine a couple things here as we begin to land the biographical portion of the program. You talked a little bit about your success compared to now when you first started and things like that, and you talked a little bit about how you think this is the vision and the model of sports medicine and athletic training going forward. Let me ask you this one. As a business owner myself, and I've been in business now almost 10 years. Gosh. If someone's trying to build something similar to what you kind of have now, if someone's putting you at the top of the pyramid, what would you tell them to think about? Like, how do you overcome inertia? What's that first step? What's that first year look like for them?
So it's hard, right? Because I built this thing in stages,
Sure.
Like it started with me just like a portable table and a skill set and just willing to work more because I needed the money. Then it turned into, well, if I just had a room that this stuff stayed in and people came to me, I could help more people. And I could make more money and I could charge the same, and I could even charge less at that point. And then that's what happened. Then it was me renting, essentially partnering with a strength coach who wanted to open a gym. And there was a little office in this warehouse that he rented that I turned into a 7x8 treatment room and just started doing it. And people signed up. And all of a sudden, a year into that, I got a full schedule. It's like, oh shit. Okay, cool. So yeah, really rudimentary. I think systems is a big piece is systematizing as much of the tedious menial tasks or making that as easy for your workflow as possible, like scheduling and billing and all those things, like the basics is really key in those early years. And then having a process that doesn't just live in your head. It's a process that you can repeat so that other people can help you with it. Right. I think, that a little bit of that kind of is, I struggled with for a long time because I was really into the art of treatment and doing it myself, and letting go of pieces of that were difficult for me at times. But the more, I put information out there and the busier I got, I'm like, okay, kind of raise the prices. Right. So slowly built it. And then I got a bigger room with more tables. And now that assistant is now treating his own clients, and we're still renting out of a gym, but I was sending a ton of clients into the gym. People would find us for the rehab stuff. And then just because I believed in that active model, I would refer them into the gym that we would partner with. And I started realizing holy fuck, man, I am referring hundreds of thousands of dollars in business, hundreds of thousands of not to be blow smoke up my own ass, but I'm the fucking ticket here. Cause it's bringing people through the door. Right. Well, listen, an older guy who's, maybe gained a few pounds, but feels good isn't that motivated to get into the gym sometimes, and sometimes pain is a really
Listen,
good
just say
motivator.
my name,
Injuries.
okay? If you're gonna talk about me like that, just say my name.
Give him the finger. Give him the finger.
I'll give him this finger.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
No,
Anyway,
I think that's a
ahead.
really good point, though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's
No,
I think it's an unbelievable point. You just got to like overcome inertia, right? You just got to get started.
right. Yeah. The biggest piece was the hardest part was like the initial fear of doing it and getting in trouble. But then I realized nobody's knocking on the door and asking like, "Hey, where's your paperwork? Where's your standing orders?" And then when I really knew, so when I really got the itch to do this, because I'm doing the math in my head, like if I could just see this amount of clients, I can make this amount of money. Here's what my expenses would hopefully be, and this is what I could take home. Like God, that would be life-changing money that I could actually, do this and do what I love, right? And so I totally lost where I was going with that, but I apologize.
It's my fault.
Late.
That's my
It's
fault.
past
It's all
my
right.
bedtime. Gosh, it'll
Has
come
there-
back to me for a second.
Has there
Sorry.
ever been any evolution in the thing? Because I can tell you from my business model, when I first started off, it was this, 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 and this. It was A, B, and C. And now there's a little bit of X, Y, and Z creeping in as I
Sure.
kind of evolve. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And then now I have more people and like seeing what they're interested in and like then having that kind of like nerd hive mind, where we're all, like, and that's the other part. It's like I hired passionate people,
Sure.
people who love this stuff too. And so now we're all nerding out together and the clients get the collateral benefit of that. So when they bring stuff and they're like, "Hey, Mike, I think this is," I'm like, "Okay," I give them the ability to explore that
Yeah.
and have a little bit of their own autonomy in the
Autonomy,
process because I trust them. I trust them and I want them to know that I trust them. And as long as there's sound rationality and good clinical decision making on the back end of that, I'm cool. Like there's no one way to do any of this stuff. There's no one way to do any of this stuff. There's just varying degrees of right, and so as long as it's anchored in our core values and it's not in violation of that and people are getting results and they're enjoying their process, I'm all for it. I'm all for new ideas and incorporating things. Obviously with a business, you think like liability and you have to start thinking with that kind of stuff in mind. So we're not getting crazy, but again, the basics work. It doesn't have to. It's like a lot of people way complicate this stuff for clicks and views on Instagram. But the reality is 85-90% of what people should and need to do is the basics.
Real quickly
Like
before I hand
just
it off
consistently well.
real quickly before I hand it off to Ev, will you always treat your entire career? Do you see yourself always treating, or is that something that as you evolve that you want to, I don't want to say get away from, but kind of hand off as you move towards more education and growing people and things like that? Or do you think you will always have a presence on next to a table?
It's hard to say. Like I have scaled back quite a bit. Like my role here day to day at the Movement Underground isn't doing a ton of follow-up care like it used to be, because on some level, like I think my goal is like every client that comes here gets at least some piece of me and my attention directly. So in order to do that, I just can't work with the same clients all the time. Like I have
Sure.
like kind of clients that I've become really close with that are maybe more likely to be on my schedule because I enjoy those sessions too.
Sure.
But I really only treat like 2 or 3 days a week now. Like a lot of the time I spend is mentoring my guys, mentoring my team, building the systems, doing all the content generation, all like that takes up a ton of time. I'm putting out 2 to 3 piece of content per day now per platform. So it's just like, 100 pieces
The world
of
has
content
noticed
a
and they
month.
appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of part of the game you got to play, but now I'm in a position where I have help. And again, it started with a GoPro on the wall because that's what I could do. And then it evolved into actually learning how to do some video editing. And now it's, like fucking camera switchers and like professional microphones and backgrounds. And I got a videographer that helps me and comes down and records stuff. So it's just cool. And I love teaching. It gives me the same kind of like, I guess, high that treating gives me. So like seeing that light bulb go off in other people's head, like I love that. And now I feel called to do more of that.
Sure.
Like I said, I think, I'm fortunately positioned where it's like I built a platform for better or worse. It is what it is. So I'm trying to continue to get it out there that athletic trainers are good clinicians and can help people solve movement problems. And there's a lot of that. And we need all the help we can get.
Ev, I took up a little bit of time there. Any other questions before we move on to trivia?
No, it's trivia time. I wanted to ask Mike real quick. Are you in your house? Where are you right now?
No, I'm at the Movement Underground, man.
Oh shit!
I'm at the office, dude. Like, but I also have like the sweetest fucking setup ever. Like my three minutes from my facility, and so it was like, I have an 8-month pregnant wife at home. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll do this at the office.
We got to get you out of here.
Get you out of here.
No, you're fine, dude. She's cool. I made sure she was fed. She was well taken care of before I left. I'm only 3 minutes away. I came back at 8 my time, got a lift in right before this and drank some pre-workout. So now I'm just going to be rage in my bed for the rest of the night. I'm kidding. I didn't drink pre-workout. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It was just creatine, electrolytes.
As always, Mike, we have 5 trivia questions to get you out of here. They are going to range from what I think are easy to difficult. Okay. And then we're gonna not cover anything we just talked about. Okay, number 1. What is the name of the river that the Marist campus overlooks in Poughkeepsie, New York?
The Hudson River.
No.
Boom.
The majestic Hudson.
Bingo.
1 for 1.
Bingo.
Ev, number 2.
All right. Who was the most successful Florida track athlete in 2008 when you were there?
The most successful, probably Christian Taylor. Long jumper, triple jumper.
That is not the answer that ChatGPT gave us, but go ahead.
2008. Let's see. Who else on that team? 2008.
Two-time medalist.
Christian. Calvin Smith.
Again,
not Calvin Smith.
ChatGPT may be leading us astray. It gave us Karan Clement, who won 2 medals in the
Karen
08
Clement.
Yeah.
Karen Clement.
He came in after I left. So he was like Christian Taylor's protege at the long jump.
That's why you can't trust
technically
ChatGPT.
Christian Taylor, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-time Diamond Award winner. U.S. world record holder. Kid was a stud. That whole team was studs. That's all right. Karen Clement, real guy.
You worked for GW men's soccer for 2 years in a tough Atlantic 10 conference. What is the name of the athletic complex where the team played? Which was off campus, which is rare.
The Mount Vernon Athletic Center.
We're going to give that one to you. It's correct. So we're actually going to give you 3 for 3 so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ev, go for it.
Next one. Long Island University, where you worked, has several mascots. LIU Brooklyn had one. LIU Post had another. Name them, and then name what the unified mascot is now.
Oh, God. This was such a debacle. It was the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds. That was one.
Okay, there's
Correct.
one.
The LIU Sharks was the Long Island team. And now I believe are they the Pioneers?
Oh, bingo. We got them all.
Did I get it?
3.
Let's
for
fucking...
3.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy. LIU, man. The dungeon.
When I found that question earlier, that's a lot of mascots.
Well, they'd have some athletic teams on one campus and other athletic teams on. Here's a piece of trivia. Long Island University's president is the highest paid private university president in the country.
No shit.
She makes more than the president of fucking Harvard to run 2 mediocre colleges. Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Scam. We all got scammed, by the way.
Seaford, New York, where your business is located, is known for a, quote, legendary restaurant. Name that place.
A legendary restaurant in Seaford?
That's what ChatGPT tells me.
It's not All American Burger because that's Massapequa.
It was credited as in Seaford as the All American Hamburger Drive-In.
It might technically be Seaford. Yeah, it might technically be Seaford. We're
going to award that one to you. We will.
All
I
American
think,
burger.
Ev, I think this might be our first 5 for 5. Is that
Yeah.
who
Well,
knows?
he's got one. He's got one more.
He's got one
And-
more.
Oh,
This is
one
more.
We
more.
got one
A
more.
bonus round? We got
This
a
is more of
bonus
an
round.
opinion question. Why is Philadelphia better than New York in every way?
Yeah. Philadelphia is better. Listen, Philadelphia is like New York's redheaded stepchild. Stepchild they didn't want. No, I'm kidding. It's Philadelphia is an amazing city. So much great culture. The food, not the best. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
It's a
I would
little
agree.
sketchy.
Come on.
The
I would
sports
agree.
fans are
They suck.
are
They
Come
suck.
on.
okay. How about this? Only in Philadelphia can you win a world championship in whatever sport and destroy your own fucking city afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only Philadelphia does that. Like
Yeah.
nobody's rioting in the streets after the Giants win a Super Bowl because it happened twice as far as, in the last however many decades, but we didn't
Yeah.
destroy New York, but Philadelphia's gotten wrecked a few times.
Yeah.
Well,
More than once. But
Philadelphia just kind
it's
of lives in
also-
a constant state of wrecked, so that's okay.
it's such a great rivalry for sports too.
Oh, it's great.
I really
Well-
hope MLB doesn't redo all these anyway.
As you
we'll
can
talk about that next
see,
time.
I have to stand for my former team right back here because go Birds. We don't like the Giants, but that's okay. Listen,
well, the Giants are pretty bad, so you guys can have your day.
they're on the uptick. They're coming around. Listen, man, I think that's a great place to land a plane. We've been on for an hour now. We've taken up way too much of your time with an 8-month-old pregnant wife at your business. You're not even home. Listen, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us. We're obviously going to, promote you to the nth degree that we can to anybody that cares. And hopefully you'll come back with us on sometime soon. We see you
Absolutely.
out at conferences. I've already secured a place to stay during the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills on Long Island this summer.
Okay.
So, we'll be
Got
around.
some great
So
golf out here, man.
Hopefully, we'll see you.
Great golf.
Any parting thoughts tonight for our guest, Mike Ev?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being here this evening. We really appreciate you. And listen, obviously, everybody look for Mike's channel. Mike, where can everybody find you in the really strange case that they don't already know where to find you?
Easy to follow, or find at least on the, Instagram. And I'm just getting now into the TikTok thing, but at Mike Stella _ATC and at the Movement Underground are like the two main places. So would love to see you guys there. And we're releasing a new app, which is going to be sick. So you'll be able to download programs and buy programs, work with us virtually that way. And then it'll also serve as like how we run the day-to-day ops here. So making appointments and stuff, but that's basically it, guys. It was a pleasure. Really cool connecting with you and a lot of fun. I would stay up late with you guys anytime.
Well, you guys are both East Coast guys, and I'm a Central Time Zone, so I got a ways to go before I go to bed. But appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much. We will see you when we see you.
Thanks,
Good
dude.
night,
All right,
everybody.
guys, take it easy.